This is Dead Serious, a show about short horror stories worthy of discussion. I'm Dead Palette, and I'm turning over a new leaf. Today we're going to be taking a look at another Geoshea creepypasta story from the Geoshea creepypasta wikia. This story is entitled Animal Crossing, Bootleg Cartridge. So please bear in mind if I sound a little jaded while reading this. I already recorded this episode, but I thought there was a lot to talk about, and I lost the recording. Audacity, which has been completely reliable for the duration of me using it, decided to not save the file I was working on, and so now I'm re-recording this. This story starts off with what appears to be a disclaimer. Please excuse me if this has any similarities with a pasta. I must have not read them yet. So this person is afraid that their story might bear some semblance to another story. Well, I have bad news for you, author of this. There are many haunted cartridge stories out there, and bootleg cartridge stories as well. You can use those almost interchangeably with the lost episode stuff as well, lost media in general. So the question is, how many cliches will come up? Similarities, of course. I mean, there's an entire genre, but cliches, that's the issue. And will you have an original concept here? Spoiler alert, I already know. Anyway. Hey guys, yesterday I went to my local flea market and picked up a copy of Animal Crossing New Leaf for the Nintendo DS. Well, there you have it. First sentence of our story, and we've already gotten something in common with most haunted cartridge stories, a local flea market. Or a garage sale, something of that nature where you're not going through a first-party media distributor, shall we say. Odd, as New Leaf wasn't released for the original DS. The guy that was selling it was a game collector, and he assured me that this was a real copy. The price was $1.99, and if anything, GBA games should be $1.99. Oh well, I grabbed my DS and I'm going to start playing it. Wish me luck. So this is setting up a few things. One, this is written in a weirdly weird format where it's like a diary entry, but like every few paragraphs it'll be a new day, but they don't tell you that. And there's also a few weird tense things that need to be cleared up in that first paragraph. They're also saying that the game collector assured them this was a real copy, but the question is, why was it in doubt that it was a real copy? And that's because the narrator is assuming, because the author is assuming, that there is something amiss about the cartridge. That is a problem. They wouldn't have that knowledge. And if they did have that knowledge, we should know why they had that knowledge. They're also saying that the game is not expensive enough, which is weird because you're talking about a flea market where prices fluctuate quite significantly. There's nothing weird about them not knowing the price of something. Today, everything is working fine, as this was a hacked copy of Wild World. That's good. I started a town called Onett, yes, based off of Earthbound, my favorite game of all time. I named my character Ness, again, Earthbound. I got a house from Mr. Tom Nook, and I'm ready to go deep into it. Man, Earthbound has so many fans that have never played Earthbound. I don't know if anyone has seen the Clickhole article. I'm sorry I'm stealing their joke, but it's so goddamn funny to me. Earthbound fan excited to play Earthbound for the first time. This reads like that to me. But so far, we're just getting information about what you do when you start up a game. Alright, but at the beginning they were kind of assuming you knew the lingo about Animal Crossing, which I don't. I've only played the first Animal Crossing that came out on the GameCube in the West. I've been noticing some odd things. Sometimes the animals have red eyes, but whenever I blink, they're gone. Must just be me. I'll keep playing. So to read that again, but whenever I blink, they're gone. That's what it says. So we are getting that there is something, supernatural or hallucinogenic or maybe hypnotizing going on here. But this isn't a bootleg cartridge. It's saying that it's a hacked copy, but It's not clear what that is. Who are these people that are just going out there and hacking copies of video games? That's a weird phenomenon that seems to always crop up in these stories. But bearing that in mind, it's not something where this is hacked. It's their mind playing tricks on them. So it's something to do with something supernatural or their mind. Today, the game looks corrupted-ish. The game booted up with me walking out of my house. My villager had a sort of depressed look on his face. He said some gibberish that I don't understand. If you could translate it for me, thank you. I'd like to know what it says. And then there is some gibberish. Other than that weird bit, the game played normally. But when I walked into Nook's cranny, my villager said something, the same thing. Tom Nook replied with, and then there's a bunch of gibberish. Some more stupid gibberish that needs to be translated. I think it's code. I'll check back on this later. So there's a bunch of gibberish there, and I would just assume that the game had corrupted or something, or that this was, an unintended bug coming up. But this person seems to assume that it's a code. Now, why do they assume it's a code? And that's because the narrator is the author, and the author wrote it to be a code that's supposed to be translated. And so the narrator knows that it's probably a code when they shouldn't. They are assuming something is amiss. They are assuming things that no rational person would assume. Today, the game is completely corrupted, like graphically corrupted. It still plays like it did the other day, the same gibberish, nothing other than to say. So again, we have this whole weird thing where it's not clear how much time had passed, but it's clear that it's a new day because it said today. It also brings up the idea that there was this gibberish in the game, right? So that means the person didn't skip past the dialogue. They typed up the gibberish at the time, and now they are relaying it back to us, and they're doing this day by day. Context would be very helpful. The context in which this is being written and why it's being written. I would think that if you want to explain to somebody what you want to do in terms of a game, the best way to do that is a little thing called a Let's Play. And then, you capture the footage and then you upload it, and then, the story of the game gets told that way. Also, we're being told that the graphics are corrupted but not given specifics, and along with that, they're saying that they're able to play it normally. Now, I would imagine if the graphics are all borked to hell and back, you wouldn't be able to play it, but, there you have it. I am never playing any Animal Crossing game again. This simple game has brought me to never again. Why? I'll tell you what happened. So I'm gonna do that again. I am never playing any Animal Crossing game again. This simple game has brought me to never again. Why? I'll tell you what happened. Proofreading is important. Maybe that would make sense in a certain kind of verbal delivery, but it didn't make sense written down. Not exactly. And it's having the whole, happy thing of like, now what happened? Well, maybe we just get to the point. First, it started up with the same glitched graphics, same gibberish text, but this time it stayed that way until I got 5 minutes in. It cut to black and played a glitched sound effect. This sound lasted around 2 seconds. Then it cut to a message so fast I couldn't read it. Then another message popped up. This time, it stayed until I pulled the cartridge out. This message read. So before I read what the message said, I want to know why they pulled the cartridge out, why they would think to do that and not turn the game off. And then again, we're getting the term glitched and gibberish, but we're not explaining what they are. Well, the gibberish text, we can deduce that from what we've already seen, but the glitch sound effects, the glitched graphics, what do you mean by that? There's all kinds of graphical bugs out there. These are important details. The city is destroyed. The animals rest in peace. You are super player. The end. So that's what the message is. Sounds like something from an Aqua or a Toy Box song. You are super player. I know I just did Fighting Dreamers there a little bit. It was weird, and I played the Mario Paint Secret Star music backwards. Also, I love how they can recognize that right off the bat. Oh yeah, that's a Super Mario Paint music, Secret Star music backwards. Also, this track seems to be translated from Japanese, noting the several grammatical errors, such as the space before the period and "you are super player." I booted the cartridge up again, and the same message popped up. No KK slider, no title screen, just the message and the music. Haunting. So here at the end, we're being given information that is telling us that we feel weird. It was weird. And then we're told the last paragraph is just a paragraph break and it says, haunting. Don't tell me how to feel. Let me come to my conclusions. But then we have a little bit at the end that seems to be another author's note. My apologies if there's any overused cliches here. I probably didn't know what they were. Now, author of this story, yeah, you did. You knew that these were cliches, but you're just trying to lampshade the fact that they're cliches. If you're aware they're cliches, decide what you want to do with them and, how you feel about that. Sometimes cliches aren't necessarily bad. They're cliches because they come up in real life. They're practical things, but those aren't the cliches that you left in. I think that last bit, my apologies if there are any overused cliches, I think you're trying to not own up to the fact that you use them. I think you know you used them. I think at the end of the day, whenever you're trying to write a horror story that's supposed to be realistic, that's supposed to be banking on some sort of nostalgia, better to find some other story instead of using a well-known established format of a haunted gaming or a lost episode of something. Really try and think of, what you could do outside the box, because this really didn't take advantage of anything related to Animal Crossing. There's just a few mentions of Animal Crossing terminology and that kind of thing. This could have been interchangeable with any game. Like, you could have done this with Pokemon. I booted up the game. I named my character Earthbound. I named my character Earthbound. I named my character Ness, and blah, blah, blah. The story would have continued the same way. Third day I was playing the game, my sprite looked depressed. And then, I went into a local Poke shop or whatever, and they replied in gibberish. There was nothing specific that related to Animal Crossing in here. And I think that is a very damning fact. Now, if you want to continue that conversation, you can pop over to my Discord, Dead Palettes Ashcan School, where we only have 4 text chat boards: Ashcan Horror, Meme and Chat, Horror Analysis, and Pharmacy. You can support me by liking this video and following me on social media like Twitter and Tumblr. Links to everything down in the description. Thank you so much for your time, and now on to our sponsor at this non-moment in time, which is Wario Photo Publicly Known Planet Music. Wario Photo Publicly Known Planet Music. It's just the Mario Paint Secret Star music, but backwards.